This is Calabash TV, and we're joined online now by Natalie John of Dreamy Weddings, a business that's based in St. Kitts but connected to 13 Caribbean destinations. Natalie John, good to speak with you. Good to see you.
Good to see you yourself, Bernard. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. What about you?
So far, so good. It's been a long time since we last spoke, but we know you did establish and did set up base in St. Kitts almost, is it 2 decades ago?
Correct. I'm now 21 years in St. Kitts. What could have been 3 years only?
Wow. Yeah, because, and time flew as well because I was saying, wow, it's been 21 years already. And you've established
Correct.
Dreamy Weddings. Briefly, we'll get to talk a little bit about that business and some initiatives that you have ongoing now, especially in relation and in response to COVID-19. What exactly is Dreamy Weddings?
Dreamy Weddings essentially is a destination wedding planning company. We do weddings for persons wanting to come to the Caribbean and enjoy the Caribbean culture, the beach, the sea, the sand, the warmth and hospitality of its people. We actually operate in 13 Caribbean destinations, including St. Lucia, of course. And I started Dreamy Weddings actually with St. Lucia and St. Kitts as the two first destinations, and we've grown to 13 Caribbean destinations.
Now,
Correct.
this is very interesting times. St. Lucia has been doing exceptionally well in the wedding and honeymoon market, and so too the other islands of the OECS, including St. Kitts and so on. And you've seen the industry grow. Give us a sense of the arrival of COVID-19. How did this start affecting? Obviously, there were no arrivals, but how did it impact and how severely has it impacted the wedding sector?
Well, COVID-19 actually, for the time that I've been in the industry, we've never seen anything like that. I saw 9/11, I saw the financial crisis in 2008, but COVID-19 is certainly very different. It has impacted the industry tremendously because with the immediate closure, we felt it, I think, very early from February, because a big part of our business was also cruise weddings, and so we have contracts with the major cruise lines across the Caribbean. And when one port was being closed, moving a wedding to another port and then to another port. I mean, I remember just one bride where we tried initially for St. Lucia, then we tried for Barbados, then we tried Antigua, and then to Jamaica, each time knowing that because of our connections that possibly no, it would not come through, but the ship still saying yes, it's gonna come through. So we tried all these spots, and the wedding was just not able to take place because of the ministries of health and the health department saying no because of the number of 6 people on board. So it really impacted us negatively. Stemming from that, we had persons who had their weddings scheduled for the year, but then were asking for cancellations and some even asking for postponements into 2021. We saw then the lockdown, and that really affected us because you now had to do refunds. And you've already budgeted for those funds that you would have already received. And even if we had a cancellation policy in place, because of what COVID-19 is, you really and truly can't tell someone you're not going to refund them. At least our policy, those who asked for refunds, we gave refunds, and we really try to see those that could have postponed to 2021 to postpone. So it has had a tremendous impact on the economy for us personally, and I know for other wedding planners within the region.
Is there a situation as well where we might see some of the businesses that you probably worked with and some that you had an alliance with might not reopen because of how COVID is impacting the region at the moment?
Certainly, I think that was the biggest threat affecting our industry, both from a weddings and an event standpoint. So we have seen vendors shut down completely because they just don't have, the loss of revenue has just been too much. And a lot of persons have made serious investments into their business over the years, who have mortgages, loans, and not having any income at all has certainly forced them to close. During that process as well, and just listening to persons from within the region I have really been trying to reach out to fellow planners to say, we are a resilient bunch, and what are some of the things that we could actually do. I formed a new organization called CWEP, Caribbean Wedding and Events Professional, and the organization was really to help and to support, and in the long run to train and to grow. So it's really hard on us in the industry at the moment.
Now, we know in some countries, some sectors are reopening, and I think St. Kitts is due for formal opening probably later this month, I think. Is that correct?
Correct, the 31st of October.
Right. So what has been happening over the past few months and over the past weeks and so on? Have you been able to jumpstart the wedding market? Have you been able to reignite your bookings, or are you able to actually have weddings at the moment?
Okay, so one of the beauties of having Dreamy Weddings and being a truly Caribbean wedding planning company is that we've been able to work with our clients who are actually coming through and requesting still destination weddings within these times. So yes, we've been able to restart our business, not in St. Kitts because the market is still closed, and not in most of the other islands, but we actually last Saturday had a wedding in Antigua. We followed all the protocols, and just 2 days ago I was able to book again another wedding, but for Antigua. So the wedding of last Saturday, we initially were going to book Barbados. Then the protocols changed in the Barbados, so the couple wasn't able to do the wedding. So we tried to move it to St. Lucia. But St. Lucia, we were not able to do the booking, and we eventually settled on Antigua with the couple.
Okay, so give us an idea of what's involved now in terms of the protocols. I know you're producing an ebook on that as well. We'll talk about that in just a while. So, for example, the wedding that took place in Antigua, how different was a destination wedding in a COVID era, and what are some of the protocols that you have to adhere to, I guess, based on specifications from the Ministries of Health?
Okay, so right now the major ones is that you would have to, the couple coming in, apart from after they clear customs and they go through and they arrive at their hotel, our meetings are being held now by Zoom so that we have limited interaction. However, on the actual day to do the license processing, we brief the client on what is actually needed. So the mask, to go into various government offices as well, there are protocols to follow, so they had to follow those protocols. The driver as well, making sure that the driver has protocols that he's following in terms of the screening process, the cleaning of his vehicle as well. And then when we come back from the license process, simple things as having a pen, maybe walking with an extra pen so that they do the signage, go back to the hotel where the couple is actually staying. When we leave there, again, our staff has to sanitize. On the day of the ceremony, the 6 feet distancing, that was actually followed in full effect. We have pictures, so I'll share that with you, just to show you the difference in terms of now having a wedding underneath these times.
Obviously, one of the key things, I guess, in a case like this are the numbers. You can't, I suppose, have the entire family and friends with you to experience that special day. Give us an idea of what are the numbers that you have to look at now, considering the new stipulations and protocols.
Right, so now you're looking at about 25 persons in terms of what most of the guidelines that the COVID task force are given. However, some venues are being allowed more than 25 based on the social distancing rules. So, but I would probably say between 25 and 50 based on the number of persons the actual location can take. But from an inquiry perspective, we're seeing the numbers reducing for number of guests that are attending, and we're still seeing somewhere between 30, 40 people.
So obviously destination weddings are meant to capitalize on the beauty of the region and so on. So in a case like this, does that now mean that you have to get creative? And I guess the wedding couple as well would certainly want to have as a rich Caribbean experience, use more, and is it safer to do more outdoor weddings than weddings in contained environments?
Correct. And that's the beauty of the Caribbean, I would say, and that's one of the things I'm taking with me, is that from a Caribbean standpoint, we have lovely weather, we have lovely outdoor locations as well. And so persons have been saying, let's go to virtual weddings, but personally, I don't think the Caribbean, we need to go there, because even through this pandemic, we still having persons wanting to come to the Caribbean to get married.
We're happy to be here. We're getting married tomorrow, and we're gonna have a great time.
So the mere fact that we have outdoor locations, I think it's wise for us to do style shoots, like planners like myself and others, or venues, to show if you don't have the client, you could actually do a style shoot to actually get new imagery so that you could place on your website and you could show to clients how this new era would be, in still ensuring the safety of the guests and the actual client, along with the staff of the property and the actual planner that you're dealing with.
We'll definitely be back. The Dreamy Weddings has made this perfect so far, so I know they'll make it perfect tomorrow.
Dreamy Wedding.
Now, one of the key things about weddings are the memories, and obviously the photographs are pretty critical. So explain to us the protocol in terms of filming. I guess the masks have to come off at some point in time so you can see who's getting married. Give us an idea how that works.
Okay, so what has really happened now is persons have gone ahead and have made it really, really nice in terms of doing the mask with bride and groom written down on it. They have their dates written on it as well. So people have really gotten creative. Then you also have whereby you have from a photographer and videographer standpoint, masks are essential. We also have the sanitization that is very, very essential. Not being able to carry the bouquet from the bride, so you're doing a particular shot. So it's a lot more giving directive rather than actually assisting. But we explain all of that to the couple beforehand so persons understand. And so far, in the general discussions, brides are actually okay with it and they are understanding.
So how did the Antigua one go?
It went lovely. Actually, I heard from the bride just this morning. She sent an email saying that it was a wonderful experience. They shared a little clip talking about to date. The mask was fine, the wearing of mask. And again, the pictures actually showed it being fashionable. It also showed for me too that when we speak of weddings, yes, you do large weddings, but the smaller the wedding, the more intimate it actually gets. And so I think that is certainly something that would bring a further closeness and the whole love into it. So I actually enjoy it, and I think it's good for couples in general.
So, Natalie, you're also mobilizing the fraternity as well, the sector as well. And I think part of the Caribbean has to work on standardizing, at least, getting the same standards across the region and so on. And so there's an activity happening in October, a series that you can talk to us about, and then we'll get to the ebook that you're working on as well. So give us an idea of the Dreamy Romance Series, virtual learning series that is being explored right now.
Okay, so the Romance series, we will actually having, as part of our 20th anniversary of celebration, we will actually having a event in November in St. Kitts where we were going to bring Preston Bailey, who's a celebrity planner, but that got moved to 2021. However, in the whole thrust of just providing support, I felt it wise to still have an event for us within the industry. As I said earlier, so many persons were speaking about possible closure. So it's a webinar titled Managing for Success in a COVID-19 Era. COVID has actually taught us that we cannot do this alone.
that the Caribbean region, if we are able to come together, we could create a more competitive environment.
And we'll be having speakers mainly to speak about how do we actually continue, how do we actually pivot. Key to that is the whole issue of our mental health, because everybody now is really stressed out about the future. And so we have Dr. Glenda Niles, who will speak to us on our mental health and our resilience check. We also have Dave Cox, who's the publisher of Caribbean Bride magazine. It's now a online magazine. He's going to speak to us from the standpoint of how do we actually get published. And I think that's critical, because so many times we have beautiful imagery, but we don't know how to actually get it out to the international community. Then we have Brian Green. He's actually Barbadian by birth, but he's an international planner based in Atlanta. So Brian is going to speak to us on the aspects of managing during this time and the whole aspect of pivoting. But key to all of this is Paula Cook-Makuri. I'm really excited. Paula is a Pinterest guru. She has over 4 million followers on Pinterest. She's based in Canada. And for us, really, our images are mainly on Facebook and on Instagram. But when clients actually come to us, what they're sending us is pins. They're sending us images from Pinterest. And so not many of us, including myself, know truly how to navigate Pinterest. So I thought having someone in Paula's capacity, an expert really, to be able to come and tell us what to do. How do we get our images on Pinterest? How do we get that following? Because it would be wonderful if we were able to have clients who send us imagery, and that imagery is actually our own or Caribbean base. And then, of course, I will also be one of the speakers just speaking on managing, because when I started Dreamy Weddings 21 years ago, I didn't know that I would still be here. And so a lot of small businesses start and the rate of success is not very high. So I will also be sharing some of my experiences, challenges, and successes to be able to see how we could actually assist fellow planners and just persons within the industry on a whole.
So this event is taking place on the 31st of October?
31st of October.
5 p.m., is that correct?
Yes, 31st of October.
5 p.m.?
Yes.
And who is allowed into the session? Is it an open session for the public or just for the industry professionals?
It's actually open to the public. It's actually it's a paid webinar, because we really want persons who are interested and who really want to benefit. There are lots of free webinars going around, but we felt with having somebody as high profile as Paula, there's a small fee of $100 US for anyone. But those who actually join CWEP get a 50% discount. So it's also, you get in sort of a two for one, where you get in membership along with the webinar attendance for only $50 US.
And of course, we must not miss the very big event happening on that day as well. You'll be releasing your book as well during that session as well.
Correct.
An idea of the title of the book and what's it about?
Okay, so it's a book called The Destination Guide to Weddings and Events for the protocols, COVID-19 protocols. And it's really addressing, I've looked at 9 sectors within the industry. So we look at photographers, florists, videography, cake, food and beverage, officiants, just a range of various vendors within the sector, and providing them guidelines, COVID protocols, so that they can keep themselves safe, as well as ensuring that they keep their clients safe. So it really goes into detail in each actual area, and that is really to provide a guideline to the actual professional. And that I am doing really because when I think about it, I first thought about when destination weddings come back, A makeup artist is, I think, the person who's going to be closest to the bride, that person who's coming in from overseas. What if she sneezes? Before a sneeze, you would say, God bless you. Now, if somebody sneezes, you want to, get away. So, and I know our Caribbean people, and it actually just happened to us in Antigua. The wedding that we're doing on Tuesday, she wants makeup, but one of our makeup artists we normally recommend, she said she's afraid. She doesn't want to go and do the business, even with the establishment of the protocols that we've already put in place. She said, I am really afraid. And so the book, I think it's really going to be able to give us guidelines to know what is it do we do apart from just wearing a mask and sanitizing. There are face shields, there's a fanny pack that you should actually walk with, just different things that each individual vendor can do to be able to keep themselves safe and their clients safe.
That sounds like a must-have resource for almost everybody who's in the industry. Not just your industry. I mean, once you're within the hospitality sector, I think there are a lot of things that I can apply to various aspects of the hospitality sector as well. So if we need to get a copy of that book, how can we get it? Where is it available? From the 31st?
Okay, so it's actually going to be available on our website, and of course once it's published I'll send you a copy, Bernard, so you'll certainly get a copy. I think Kelly, who handles our marketing, we will be doing a press launch for the book, so we'll be inviting the media and they will be getting copies, but it will be available on our website. We're also working with the OECS and a few other Caribbean tourism boards and authorities, so we will be able to provide it to them as well as the various hotel and tourism associations, so they too can share with their members. Because while I understand that the government produces general protocols, I do believe that we sometimes have to do things for our own selves, and putting something out there for our industry to be able to guide and help us is certainly needed.
Definitely, and congratulations on that publication as well. And we look forward to receiving it and also promoting it as well here in St. Lucia, and to other persons in the sector who would certainly need to get a copy of it as well. It's an ebook, right?
Yes, it's an ebook. And the reason why we decided to do an ebook is because the COVID-19 is so fluid. And so if protocols change again, then it's easy to just go in, make the adjustments, and then republish.
Okay, pretty good. Well, Natalie, we're certainly happy that we spoke with you, especially as you have another big event coming up next week. I think you have a wedding next week as well. And as Destination
Yes,
Weddings...
we do. We have one on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, that's right. So Destination Weddings are returning. How optimistic are you looking at projections for the rest of the year so far?
For the rest of the year, I would say I'm starting to feel a lot more confident. Initially, my projection was November 2021, but with doing so far, we've had over the last 2 months, because some persons, the planning process, we've booked 4 weddings, and so I think that is giving me some measure of, and when I say 4 weddings, I mean 4 immediate weddings that we are having in October. We also have started having bookings for clients for 2021 who've actually paid a deposit. So I am really looking forward to going forward. I think that the industry is indeed resilient. I think as wedding and event professionals, that's what we do. We ensure that persons do have a good time. We try to take the hassle away from everything. So our shoulders are very broad. And so I am confident that the industry will return and we will be able to continue and be able to take care of our families.
And you did mention a connection with cruise weddings, with the cruise ships and so on. I guess that'll come sometime later, probably in 2021?
Yes, certainly, because we've already started receiving bookings for some of the European cruises for 2021. So fingers crossed that we could certainly curtail. I don't think the cruise ships are going to be as packed as before, but those that are going to be allowed to sail, you will see a huge reduction in the number of persons actually going on a cruise. For me personally, that's my vacation spot, cruising. So once the necessary guidelines and the protocols are followed, I would certainly try it. So I know for a fact that our industries, it will be coming back.
Right, Natalie, congratulations on your ebook, which will be released on the 31st of October. That's the same day that's your that St. Kitts is opening up as well, and you're having a big event as well from 5 p.m. Where you virtual learning activity, talking, and you've brought some quality professionals there as well, who will certainly be participating in this. But we'd like to wish you all the best in that, and look forward to having an ongoing conversation with you.
Certainly, Bernard, I truly appreciate it. And to my fellow St. Lucia professionals, I encourage you to take the opportunity, if you're serious about your business and even just wanting to pivot, just to understand where you are in your business right now and how do you want to take it forward. I certainly think this is a step in the right direction to just get more knowledge to be able to see how do you move forward. So thank you, Bernard.
Thank you, I appreciate it, and all the best.
Great, thank you.